We are so happy that you are here with us, because today we are hosting a special webinar of Strong Women in IT, a special edition of Strong Women in IT, because we have today a completely new format, and I hope you will like it. We are right now having our webinar from Gesell Law Company, and this is our first moment when will be able to see our panel discussion that will be at the end after the keynote speakers that Gosia will run. So today we are going to have first Management Office and Gender Development and Equity Advocate at Procter & Gamble, and later Dariusz Mazurkiewicz, CEO of BLIK. And I am so happy that they found time to join us and tell us about their stories and how they grow their companies and how they grow themselves as leaders. And after that, we will have, I believe, amazing discussion run by and hosted by Gosia Grys, and she will interview our partners about how to make a difference and how to be stronger together. So without further ado, let me introduce Michelle Tower, a Senior Director, Data Management Office, Gender and Development and Equality Advocate at Procter & Gamble. Michelle, thank you once again for finding time to joining us. And thank you for allowing us to listen to your journey and your leadership reflections.
Thank you so much. Yes, I thought I'd start and share a little bit about what my career journey has been at P&G. And I always think of my career at P&G, because it's been a long one. It is, in and of itself, it's like having the opportunity to change career domains and or companies, but within the company, looking at working in central roles or in business units. You have a treasure trove of opportunities within P&G. So my career has allowed me to do that. I started P&G in telecommunications, working in local area, wide area network systems. I had an opportunity to move to St. Louis in the United States and work in one of our manufacturing facilities, learning quite a bit about manufacturing and warehouse systems, and also bringing my infrastructure and telecommunications background to bear, because I also had the opportunity to be the North America kind of infrastructure leader while I was located in the plants, bringing then my supply chain knowledge forward. I then led a multifunctional 21-person team to roll out SAP supply chain across North America to all of our fabric and home care plants. So that opportunity was huge, and also very pivotal in my career, because it established a strong foundation for my knowledge, in the supply chain, and also across really knowing more about P&G and how we operate, make, package, ship. From there, however, I was very eager. I was wanting to expand my leadership career and get into the executive ranks. But to do so, in P&G at the time, there was a real focus on really understanding the commercial side of the business, so more the sales, the marketing, the research. And so I took a leap of faith, and some leaders took a leap of faith on me, and allowed me the opportunity to be in a commercial role, working on our interactive marketing and some of our brands, and then also bringing a transformation of how P&G did package design, qualification, and product sales to our business using virtual technology, which was a huge transformation of doing things in a physical world into a virtual world, and bringing technology to drive that transformation. It was, needless to say, it was successful, both the concept and the transformation around people, process, and technology. And I was able to successfully transition into the commercial side of the business, but also executive leadership. I then was the CIO of our personal healthcare business, which led me then to an expat assignment in Latin America, in Costa Rica, establishing a shared service center for nearshore IT services based out of San Jose. And then I as well ran the Latin America supply chain systems, which was a huge difference from North America from what I knew in terms of the landscape of our business and some of the business processes. Upon returning from that expat assignment, I've been in a range of data and analytics assignments since. Data and analytics is where I'm considering home. I've covered things from data and reporting, analytical products, establishing a data engineering function within our big data transformation, and then most recently really building pipelines for the company, building a service model around that, and then now establishing a stronger governance presence for managing all of that data with our core data lake. Along the journey as well, I've been a huge proponent of women's development. I have been a key leader in establishing functional affinity groups for women's development, both as a functional element as well as a business unit. So I've established those networks. I've worked on external efforts with other companies, including some of our partners, that we've worked with at P&G. And now, obviously getting very involved in Strong Women of IT. So I'm always looking for those opportunities to give back and also develop myself, but also grow the next generation of leaders. That's a little bit about me. It's a long time because it's over 30 years of my career. In terms of sort of the lessons learned, if I think about my career, I like to reflect on things, and I think of it as an opportunity to go from chaos to clarity. And that may sound a little, daunting, and from the standpoint of my career was chaos. In a sense, I feel like when I first started out, I really didn't have a clear sense of what it meant to be a strong IT leader. I was naive. I was young. I was new, but I knew I wanted to grow and be this big, successful leader. It just wasn't clear how to do it. I was a classic case of more is not more, but I was always doing more, raising my hand, taking every opportunity. And I found my calendar was filled to the brim with meetings and tasks. I was always overwhelmed. And a lot of times I just felt unfulfilled. I was constantly seeking that validation. I was trying to prove my worth. I was always looking to do more and deliver more. And I was lost in that sea of commitment and not really delivering key impacts. This was very early on, right? So in that year one, I really took a step back, and I started focusing on what do I need to do to drive impact. I was having mentoring conversations with my mentors, my manager, about what it really means. And even at the time, I was forming a women's network event as part of one of the many things I was involved in, right? And I brought an outside speaker in, and he spoke about yes and I thought, oh, here's more. It's more of the same. How am I going to get focused? But then he said some very pivotal words, and he said, have your calendar congruent with your goals. And do you have goals, right? This speaker, I will always have a special place in my heart for. His name is Paul Wisselman. And he taught me that you can say no by saying yes and. And it was game changing for me. So I learned that I can say, yes, I can agree to that. And something needs to come off my plate. Or yes, I will need these resources to do that work. Or yes, I will delegate this work to person A or B in order to drive this as a key contribution that only I am unique to deliver. So the framework that he gave me and the focus on my goals and my career goals and even frankly, my family goals, allowed me to step up but not be overburdened, and allowed my calendar to be aligned with my priorities. It hit me like a ton of bricks. And I realized that I then had the power to shape my career, and saying no to distracting things or things that were not my priority, but were others' priorities, and I was helping, allowed me to stay focused to my true priorities. It really started making me think a bit more about how do I really apply that to my career. And I started to apply kind of game theory principles to my work-life balance. Even as I started having children, I needed to balance and juggle even more. And I always felt like I have to be this excelled person at everything. And one of the leaders at P&G at the time had this concept of the 5 F's: faith, fitness, financial, family, and fun. And by focusing on being really great at everything, I was being great at nothing. And I took this concept and I said, like, I can be really great at maybe 2, max 3 things, and the rest is going to have to wait for later. And I started taking that chaos through every aspect of my life: career, life, my children, my family, all the responsibilities, and getting more focused to be the best that I could be in doing those 1 or 2 things, but not trying to do it all. And how do I outsource and leverage other resources to get at that clarity and focus on what really matters, not how to do everything. And how do I leverage other resources to get the key things done and not worry about delivering it all. So it was key for me. And then that freed up additional capacity for my life to start thinking about strategy and frameworks and models and things that I needed to grow for myself and get myself what I would say was, promotion ready at the time. And I started really honing my leadership. In fact, I started practicing skills that helped me to say no to things that weren't aligned to my goals. I remember having a discussion at that leadership point in my career to say, I had a role opportunity presented to me, and I actually told the SVP at the time, thanks for thinking of me, but I'm going to pass on this one. The assignment that he had for me it wasn't the opportunity I was looking for next. It didn't lead me to the career goals that basically I was looking for. And I found that saying no and declining that role, even though he had my career interest at heart, it was hard. It was really hard. But I later learned that he was actually impressed that I said no and didn't jump on to the next offer, because it wasn't necessarily a test, but it sort of was, because he knew that then I was clear on what I was going for and what I needed, and I was willing to make choices. And I wasn't jumping on just the next thing that was put in front of me, that I was being deliberate and intentional and focused on what my career steps would be. And I was focused. So it was critical at the time, and it led me to take my next development role, which was a crucible role that allowed me to demonstrate my readiness for promotion, and it got me on the executive track. So I really found myself evolving and then needing to continue to hone and exercise my strategic muscles. I would seek out right assignments and seek out the right network to help me build those muscles. And I found myself moving into a role into Costa Rica and back to supply chain at the time. And I learned, I could really drive focus. And I found that I could be either in the right place at the right time, but I also learned that I could be in the wrong place at the wrong time, and tough decisions were a part of that journey. And I always had to leverage my network. At key times, I always had to take the high road for myself, meaning maintain my integrity, my professionalism, and never let up, even when things got very tough. and also never let go of my authentic self. So throughout this journey, I just felt I was developing a growth mindset, and I embraced every opportunity to learn. I built resiliency into my career and able to take, for example, real vacations and be with my family and be with my children at their key events and make sure that, I was able to enjoy those pieces as well as give my best to P&G. And sometimes that even meant living remote for a month or so while, for example, my son was active in travel baseball during his high school years and then into college, which he played into college and is still in college, but allowing me to engage in those sporting activities and still maintain my work-life balance. I also have been able to maintain my capacity to give back and participate in outside boards to stretch my business acumen and contribute in different ways and build the next generation of leaders, particularly women, through events like this. And I'm really enjoying the kind of roundness of my career that it's afforded me as I've grown through my career here at P&G and developed beyond, I think, what my younger me would have ever imagined as a opportunity to become an executive and contribute in this professional world. So it's been a wonderful journey. I know that, with what you've outlined here, I wanted to share just a couple of things that I might even, I'll say, share with a younger version of me, right? So a couple of the lessons that I take, or maybe that I wish I would have known, is never hold back on my career objectives. Being my biggest and most assertive career advocate for myself early on, defining my goals and being relentless on those priorities would be something that I would have told my younger self. And lean into confidence. Do not get hung up on the self-doubt or the imposter syndrome. It's present in everyone, and it's just a matter of how you grab yourself by the bootstraps and take setbacks and learn from those things. Develop that, growth mindset from the beginning. So I feel like, I would tell myself that, but also I would not take setbacks alone, because setbacks are going to happen. So I know one of the setbacks that I had during my career is I found that I had sleep apnea about mid-career, probably around the Costa Rica time frame. And I wasn't my whole self. And I didn't know why. And I was seeking medical advice to what was going on and different symptoms. And I held that in. I didn't build a network around that. I didn't leverage my network. And I think I would have told my younger self, knowing what I know now, like, that's a key area of, you got to trust at some point. You want to get advice and you want to work through those things. It took me the better part of a year to get my brain function, I'll say, back to regulation once I got my sleep apnea under control. And then even another year to where I was back, I would say, high functioning. And it was a setback that, probably to everybody else, no one had any idea what I was managing through. But I didn't really let anyone under the tent. I just struggled through it and managed through it. And I think I could have had a lot more support and a lot more understanding of what I was going through had I shared what I was going through. And maybe my career, would have gone different places at the time, but I certainly held that in. And I don't know if I felt like shame or embarrassment, or maybe it was too personal, but I just wasn't willing to go there. And I feel like it was something I shouldn't have gone alone. And then just in general, building my network wide and renewing it often. Although it's something that I did do, I think at the beginning of my career, I took the power of networking and the concept of networking for granted. I didn't understand the benefit. I thought it was a bit shallow, perhaps, and not what it was intended to be or what it could be. And I would definitely help educate myself on that benefit and the power of what networking really could be. So that's kind of a few insights, if you will.
Yes, thank you, Michelle. I was listening to you and I was making notes, and when I was listening to you, I realized that you found the balance, the golden triumph that we all looking for, the balance between private life and the business life. And when I was listening to you, it sounds like it wasn't so hard for you after you understood your values, after you understood what you want and what you don't want. It wasn't so hard. Is that true, or I make it too simple?
It was really hard for me up until I did decide what are my goals and what is my plan. And once I really had that plan, you're right, it really wasn't hard because I knew what it was for me. And it's different for everyone, right? Your career journey is just that, it's yours. And so I knew what I needed to do, and I became kind of like okay with saying no for things that really mattered to me. If it didn't matter to me, I was super flexible, and I found that I was there probably more for the company than I necessarily needed to be.
Yeah.
But when I was clear, it became so easy. It was very freeing, very freeing.
So I have just one last question for you. How did you network before? Because I did you use LinkedIn, but it wasn't so popular at.
It wasn't a thing.
Yeah. So how you networked? Have you participated in conferences?
Yes.
Joined different events?
Right.
Tell us about your method.
Right. So internally, I used a relationship mapping tool. So literally, I put myself at the center and I put different leaders, depending on like, am I in a leadership team? Who do I really need to know? And I would draw, like, is it a light relationship line, no relationship, strong, etc. And I was intentional about who do I need to cultivate relationships and why. Is it for decision making? Is it for influence? Is it for collaboration? You name it. And I was intentional about those different networks internally. External networking, I joined, like you said, I joined CIO forums, CDO forums. I was a part of women in technology events. I even created and hosted a women in big data event in P&G and invited people from other companies in P&G just to know who are the women that are like me that I want to do. And fortunately, I got the support from my company to do that. But it was also, there was a win-win, right? There was an opportunity for us to showcase our leadership in the community, but also our technical presence and shine a light on that and communicate that, particularly for women and attracting women talent. So there's always a way to find a win-win and use that in networking. But I think it's about being intentional. What's your objective? Is it for growth? Is it for relationship? Is it for career? Is it for a skill set, right?
And have an initiative, because you weren't, sitting in a corner. You did it, you started to work on it. And that's super impressive. And I think that we can learn a lot from you. But I know that you have your schedule is tight. So Michelle, thanks you once again for this wonderful, really fast, really short, and I don't have enough. I would like to listen to more about you, your experience, and I have so much question about yourself, your experience, your leadership role. But I believe that we will have maybe one more chance to meet you once again here at Strong Women in IT, because such women as you are always welcome to share their stories and be our role models for those who would like to grow their career like you had. So thank you, Michelle, once again for finding time for joining us. I hope that you will think about Strong Women in IT warmly. And now let me introduce our next key speaker. And if you are from Poland, you definitely know this solution. I guess that the name of the company started to be even a noun when or a verb when we think about paying. So let me introduce you Dariusz Mazurkiewicz, CEO of BLIK, whose company took the way we pay for the market in Poland, and now they are going to expand globally, firstly to Romania. But let me introduce Dariusz Mazurkiewicz. And Ms. Dariusz, without further ado, I'll give you the stage. Tell us more about the past and the future of the BLIK, and how is the leadership role taking part in this. And of course, the stage is yours.
Thank you, Anita, for your invitation. I'm really, really happy to share on BLIK at your Strong Women in IT forum. Right now, it's really great pleasure for me. So maybe at the very beginning, some basic information on our solution for those who are, you're absolutely right, for those who are living in Poland on daily basis. Definitely, you must know BLIK. In many, I would say, everyday situations of our, I would say, daily life, BLIK is solving a lot of everyday problems. But just some basic information. So we are actually beginning of next year, beginning of February, we'll be celebrating our 10th anniversary of operations of BLIK on the Polish market. So the big idea of having or setting up a solution that would be, on one side, completely independent of any other global players, of any other, let's say, incumbent that is for years already present and operational on the market, like the global big brands, you for sure know, Visa, MasterCard, Apple Pay, Google Pay, PayPal. So all of these solutions are available across the globe, I would say, are very well known to all of us. Some of them are really, I would say, digital solutions. Some of them are very traditional card solutions. We use them on daily basis, but definitely in 2013, there was a big idea coming from the biggest Polish bank, PKO BP, aspiring to revolutionize a little bit the payments behavior of their own customers. They were simply proposing a new way of paying by providing a mobile application to customers, the name IKO, Eco app, that was supposed to be, I would say, relevant in many different situations, everyday life, especially in the POS payments in physical stores, also in e-commerce payments, in P2P transfers. So there were several payment scenarios that the bank elaborated at that time and proposed to the customers in 2013. And I would say the first big milestone that really, I would say, marked I would say the way BLIK was proposed to customers throughout the next decade, I would say, because we'll be celebrating the decade right now of our operations in Poland, was simply stopping absolutely the activity by the bank itself. The conclusion from the bank was that being the biggest, more or less 30% in retail banking business bank in Poland is not enough. Even disposing of the biggest acquirer, meaning the provider of payments to physical stores in Poland that belonged at the time to PKO BP with also 30-40% market share, is not enough. There must be a bigger ambition. So the managers, including the CEO of the bank at that time, proposed, I would say at that moment, it was a really crazy idea to share the technology among the other competitors of the market. And in 2014, beginning 2014, there was a joint venture, I would say, founded by not only the biggest Polish bank, but also other 5 competitors. So 6, I would say, almost biggest Polish banks, because there was number 2 bank that didn't at that time decide to enter the JV. 6 banks created and founded the company, and this is how in 2014, beginning 2014, the company called Polish Payment Standard. This is the brand of our company. would be at that time starting to propose the product to the market based on the infrastructure, not only of this leader bank, but also with the other competitors that created the company. So the solution based on the technology provided by PKO BP at that time was launched, including the company, separate company was launched beginning of 2015, February 2015, and this is exactly the moment when I joined the company. It was really the very first day of commercial launch. So at that time, what I saw, I experienced extremely big, I would say, ambitions on one side from the banking, from the founders, I would say. But on the other hand, I saw a very small team of more or less 30 people who had the responsibility to distribute the solution to the whole market. And I remember very, very well at the beginning of our journey, the feeling of the extremely big responsibility that was really on our, I would say, on our burden. It was a kind of, let's say, sometimes it could be even paralyzing at that time, that you see strong 6 banks investing in a completely new venture with a big question mark whether this will be a successful story or not. So we really started from scratch, proposing new way of providing payments to the customers of banks. And it was absolutely critical and important for us. And it was really disrupting at that time the market, that we were providing a payment solution without our own mobile application. So this is extremely important for us and for you to understand that our idea of providing our payments was not to provide another app that would be available in App Store or Google Store that customers would download on their mobile devices, and then they would potentially use this app for payments. The idea was just simply to provide our solution to mobile banking applications and trying to make a mobile banking app not only I would say a digital channel for traditional financial products that banks are proposing through mobile banking apps, but also trying to make a mobile banking app a payment instrument that would be really used just for different type of payments that customer potentially would need. So we were in 2015, we were at the very beginning of our journey with a lot of stress, a lot of responsibility, with a very small team, and we started step by step our mission to provide BLIK to customers. And I would say that the journey of BLIK is full of different milestones, because very, very quickly, I would say within a few months after our commercial launch, we were, I would say, struggling with market conditions that were extremely difficult for BLIK, because at that time we saw in Poland, and it was not only specific to Poland, it was also specific to some other countries. I remember very, very well that Poland, Turkey, and Canada at that time were mentioned as those countries in which contactless payments provided by global schemes like Visa and MasterCard were gaining really high traction, and we were step by step at that time falling in love with contactless payments. Of course, at the very beginning, we were tapping for smaller amounts. We were tapping to the payment terminals with plastic cards to the payment terminals. And it was extremely, extremely high for us to compete against this fantastic contactless user experience. Our user experience was slightly different. Mobile banking application was just, and is still used as a kind of provider of a very simple 6-digit code that is used in different payment scenarios. Those who live in Poland know very, very well what it means, BLIK code in payments. We are at that time, as I mentioned, the difficulty was extremely, extremely, I would say, even embarrassing us, because we were not able to gain, I would say, satisfactory market traction at that time. And we had another milestone in our history. We needed to change completely our strategy. Instead of focusing our efforts on POSs and physical stores, we focused much more on a completely new market, which was e-commerce type of payments. So we started to upgrade our solution in order to be the best payment solution that would be, I would say, distributed and would be dedicated to e-commerce players, from the biggest marketplaces to the smaller online shops that are distributing their, I would say, their goods through mobile applications, through web pages, and so on. So the idea was to be a number one payment method in Polish e-commerce, and we, let's say, I would say we changed all our strategy to be number one player in e-commerce. And you cannot imagine how happy the company and the employees were at the end of 2015, when we, after changing the strategy and focusing much more on e-commerce, we were seeing really first signs of traction on our Polish in our Polish market. We started to observe that I would say the inflow of active customers is at that time was really growing. So we were really super happy that our activity is I would say is bringing new customers, and we are coming with, I would say, more relevance with our product to the requirements of the market. So this was extremely important moment for us. And another aspect that is really worth mentioning, I remember that when we were launching our solution in February 2015, we felt super happy because we thought at the time that we have extremely big critical mass of, let's say, of the reach to the customers, because we were available in our shareholders' 6 banking apps, which at that time represented the number of 1 million active users of those 6 banking apps customers. And we started from scratch based on those, let's say, 6 banking apps infrastructure. Today, I would say after 10 years of operations in our market, we are approaching the level of almost 18 million active users. It means that 18 million of customers are using BLIK solution in different, let's say, payment scenarios, in different use cases, actively on monthly basis. And actually, we might say that 75%, I don't want to bore you with the details of the numbers of BLIK, but this is extremely important to mention to you, that we are more or less covering right now half of Polish population. And 70% of this population that BLIK is covering right now are executing BLIK transactions on daily basis. So we have plus 20 transactions per month in this population. So it means that almost every second Polish citizen or the owner of Polish banking app is using BLIK on daily basis. And the payment scenarios that we have provided to our customers is, of course, as I mentioned, e-commerce type of payments. But we have never abandoned our idea of contactless payments. We have always dreamt to have our own version of tapping the mobile, let's say, the mobile device to any payment terminals, even though we started to observe that at a certain moment of time there were Google Pay and Apple Pay occupying step by step this, let's say, contactless payments, mobile contactless payment market in Poland. So as in any other country in the world, because these products are purely global and dedicated and, let's say, proposing the services to a lot of customers globally. So can we really compete against those giants? That was another question. We are step by step winning the hearts of our customers in the e-commerce market. Can we really, I would say, compete in this contactless world that is really, I would say, provided by the giants and the big techs of this world? So the idea was really crazy, because we approached the biggest players of the globe. I would say we approached Visa and MasterCard, and we told the guys, look, we are BLIK from Poland. We have an idea of providing contactless payments. And by the way, we have an idea to compete against you. Is it possible for you to partner with us? We spent more or less 2 years' time on discussion with those giants. And then the end of the day, it was, I would say, late 2019, another milestone in the development of our business. We partnered with MasterCard, who, by the way, decided as well to invest in BLIK, and up from October 2019, MasterCard became the seventh shareholder, with existing banking shareholders, became the seventh shareholder of our company. And this is how we started a completely new chapter in developing our services, because we have connected our infrastructure of local Polish infrastructure to the global tokenization technology of MasterCard. And this is how we provided the solution that is purely, I would say, a best-in-class solution competing against Google Pay and Apple Pay. And I'm really saying against Apple Pay, because right now what is happening in Europe, the fully closed ecosystem of Apple being limited purely to Apple Pay services, none of the players have access globally to NFC technology in, let's say, very deeply hidden in I would say mobile devices, in iPhones, actually mobile devices of Apple. We have worked very, very hard with, especially BLIK team worked very, very hard with European Commission in order to contribute to new type of regulation that has been adopted across Europe, by the way. And Apple is forced to open up the NFC and TINA NFC components in the mobile device, which brings us the possibility right now to offer contactless payments not only to Google Android devices, but also to Apple devices. This is what we're working on right now. So we have, after disrupting the e-commerce market, which, by the way, is also important to mention that 70%, more or less 70% of Polish e-commerce market, Polish payment e-commerce market is just simply BLIK type of payment. The 30% is Apple, Google, some type of pay by links. There is some cash on delivery. We have completely changed the e-commerce market, and then we started to change the contactless market. We are in the process of changing the market, but we are one of those markets globally that is winning against Apple. And Google Pay, with let's say NFC technology, tap and pay technology that Google Pay is proposing, right now is step by step losing market share against BLIK in Poland, because we are not only paying with BLIK in e-commerce, but we are also as users of Polish mobile banking applications, more and more paying with our BLIK contactless technology. But it's extremely important to mention that the technology and the product that we are developing since the very beginning is based on what is called instant payments technology. It means that all money flows within our technology are based on instant transfer of funds after the authorization of transactions. And this is extremely visible when it comes to another product that changed I would say the landscape of Poland completely, which is what we call BLIK transfer, which is an instant transfer or a telephone number that is proposed to any user of any mobile banking application in Poland. Also important to mention that in the meantime, BLIK became a full standard in our Polish market, because not only 6 banking shareholders, but all Polish banks are proposing right now to their customers, are proposing right now BLIK in the mobile banking applications. So we have completely covered the whole market. We have covered 70% of e-commerce market share. And we struggled as well to provide a coherent and fully understandable by customers user experience that would be very closely related to instant P2P transfer, I mean BLIK transfer. So for your information, at the beginning, we were very much convinced that the instant transfer of funds is a great innovation. And actually, it is a great innovation. But the product at the very beginning, when we were launching our P2P solution late 25, beginning 2015, late 15, beginning 2016, we didn't really see important traction in our P2P technology that we provided to customers. It was really, really hard for customers to understand really the rationale behind why should I use this I can have cash. I can provide, to my friends and family the money. Why should I grab a mobile banking application in order to make a transfer? Is it complicated? Is it secure? And so on. So we have completely redesigned the service a few years ago. And to be honest, we based our experience, the user experience that we proposed in this P2P transfer, we proposed it based on the experience completely coming from outside the banking sector. We looked much more at Viber, WhatsApp, social media, when it was really evident for customers that discussing, I would say, in groups on WhatsApp or exchanging information between customers is very, very easy. So we have completely redesigned the service in the sense that we put more social communication, and we, let's say, integrated the phone list of all users, of all contacts that you might have in your telephone number. We have reflected this in the mobile banking application, and this is how we show to the whole database of customers how many of their friends and family members are already onboarded with BLIK. And this is, from this moment, customer really understood that there is a huge community already using BLIK, and the guys on the other side are really ready to receive money instantly. And step by step, by upgrading our user experience, we started to make our service more understandable for customers. And it was a third revolution in Poland that we started, to provide with banks. That has completely and dramatically, I would say, reshaped the market in terms of the reduction of cash in Polish economy. So Poland right now is becoming more and more cashless, and is becoming one of the most, I would say, cashless societies in Poland. It was not the case 10 years ago, when there was still a lot of cash in our economies, both in e-commerce and in POS. So this is more or less the story of BLIK. Just to give you a few information about the organization, if it's interesting for you. So as for the payment system, we are quite a big company, but of course, I would say the number of our employees is around 150, 60 people right now. We have made this decision not only to develop our technology in Poland, but we have made our first acquisition 2 years ago. We made our first acquisition in our neighboring, let's say, country, in Slovakia. We bought the local fintech. On top of this fintech, we are proposing right now to Slovak banks our products. We have also developed, as you mentioned, Anita, we open up our branch in Romania, in Bucharest, and we are starting to propose our services to banks in Romania. We are also step by step discussing with, I would say, the majority of big banking groups in Europe in order to bring innovation as well to the Eurozone, which is a huge market for us that we are planning to cover in the future as well. We are getting ready for this. The company is more or less 50% men and women. We are a very strong technological company right now, but we, I would say naturally, the level of inclusion is, I would say, 50%. Right now, we are onboarding new colleagues from other cultures, other countries. So we are setting up some, friendly relationships both with our customers and our employees in Bucharest and in Bratislava at the same time. So this is another transformation that the company is going through right now. And I would say probably at the very at the end of my statement here, I would like to tell you that we have 3 important values that are extremely important for the whole company, both, I would say, across our 3 markets right now where we're developing BLIK. So the first value that we are really, I would say, taking care of in our organization is very, very simple. It's efficiency. So it means that we need to measure our ambitions, and we need to measure where we want to go, and we want to measure where we are today. So we are really very much fact-based organization. We prove on data all our results. It's extremely important. So we are very factual and putting a lot of effort on efficiency but there is another value that is extremely important for us. This is, I would call in English, I would call it coherence or consistency. We whatever we do in our organization, we must stick to the strategy. We must stick to the decisions that we are making. We don't want to see contradictions. We don't want simply to waste our times on doing things that are unnecessary, doing only the things that are really important in our strategy. We are really crazy about doing the necessary stuff and not unnecessary stuff. Sometimes it's very simple what I'm saying and very evident, but in organizations, when you see a lot of processes, it's always important to mention this. And last but not least, there is a beautiful word in Polish, which I would say in English, we cannot reflect this in exactly the same way. I would say it in Polish right now, this is the word what we call samodzielność. This word is including on one side a kind of autonomy in action, but on the other hand, courage in action. We really value courage because we never look for guilt and faults of people. So we have created a really trustful organization. We keep people since the very beginning. We are onboarding people once employees are joining BLIK. They're super happy to be with us, and this is extremely important to have this specific culture because we are working with a lot of stakeholders in the financial sector, with all Polish banks, and not only Polish right now. We are working with global acquirers, payment services providers. All our partners are global big organizations, and we need to be in the middle. We must be agile. We must stick to our strategy. We cannot get lost among those giants that are all around us as our customers. So this is more or less what I would like to share with you. Sometimes it's a challenge to be purely a speaker, not being asked any question. In the meantime,
I have some questions.
I'm happy. So I'll be really happy to answer.
Mr. Dariusz, when I was listening to you, I wrote that your first name is ambitious. It's being ambitious. The second name is pivot, and constantly thinking how you can change and disrupt the society and your community as well. The other is flexibility and persistence. Really, I think that in future we will be reading books about BLIK and how it change and disrupt the way we pay. But when you think about you as a leader in this situation, in this constant change, because I believe that you were at the beginning like a startup in a corporation world. So you needed to be on one hand flexible, on the other hand, in this industry is one of the most regulated industry.
Yes.
In Europe and especially in Poland. So flexibility is key. So how you as a leader, how you keep up with the motivation of your people, of your team, to stay focused, to be persistent, to be consistent with your strategy when you have so much to, on one hand, to change, and but on the other hand, there are so many limitations that can stop you from being so motivated to disrupt.
Yes, I thank you for this question. It's a great question. My journey throughout the last 10 years was really doing the business from scratch, from really basic regulatory, commercial, HR decisions that were necessary to be done. On the other hand, please notice that it's not a common approach that competitors and big banks decide on one side to cooperate among them, but on the other side to create a JV and saying you must be independent. We are not taking your decisions. You are running the company. You are setting or approving the strategy with us as shareholders, of course, but you must be independent because you can be agile. We, as big organization, we will do it for ages. We need to have a separate organization. So you must be quick. You must react. This is why we are creating you. So on one side, there might be a special contradiction because, on one side, I'm saying you must stick to your strategy. But on the other hand, we say flexibility, agility. It's always a challenge, I would say, to have, the paradigm of constant and important strategy and the vision. But on the other hand, being really able to change strategy from one day to another. So you must be ready for this. How do we do this? Potentially the answer is in the team. It's extremely important to have the stakeholders within the organization, employees, managers in the organization with whom you must share your doubts. And you are not presenting, at least this is my style, I'm not presenting myself as the best, well knowing what is the future and how we should do, but really sharing doubts with people. And even disclosing that I'm full of doubts, I'm not really sure whether we should go in this direction. What is your opinion? We have, I would say, our leaders in organization that are really, really used to sharing their opinions and saying that the CEO has doubts. And is not always certain about the future. And sometimes is really frightened about the future, and disclosing this. And I would say being a little bit vulnerable and showing a little bit fragility to team. This is, in my opinion, I would say, a strong characteristic of a person, not a weak one, I would say. So this is how we share this responsibility among us. This is not only on my responsibility, but it's also, I would say, related to our team spirit. So this is probably one of the answers. But being crazy about consistency, this brings a lot of advantages to the company. I mean, with the more you are running the business, and especially if you are running a successful story in the business, and you have made successful decisions, you have made the right decisions at the right moment. For us, it's extremely important, and I would say the word partnership is a very, very strong, let's say, word in our operations, in our strategy. It was unimaginable at the beginning of 2015 that we can provide a product with our strong competitor, which is MasterCard, for example, and the same on their side. It was absolutely impossible for MasterCard to imagine that there will be somewhere supporting with the technology the I would say initiative of banks that is purely competitive to their products. This happened. It was not easy. But what we provided to our customers is extremely unique, because what we provided from Poland, this is important to mention, I didn't tell you this, I would say the acceptance network, I mean the number of payment terminals that our customers can use for the payments is global. So right now, whenever you might pay with MasterCard, it means wherever you go globally, you can pay with either Visa or MasterCard. You can also pay with BLIK. So the technology is available globally. None of digital schemes that is elaborated in the world has ever, let's say, opened up this kind of partnership. And I would tell you that Poland with BLIK right now belongs to the top players in the digital payment, let's say, sector. I would say there are two other countries that are extremely successful, but of course in a different culture, in a different way of providing the product, which is Brazil with the local system called PIX. And there is another local system called UPI in India, and Poland with BLIK. So these are the markets that are really showing that plastic card is no longer valid. It's a little bit obsolete approach. In the longer perspective, will be purely mobile and digital, and we will not be obliged to carry any plastic, let's say payment instruments in our wallets. Super. And even wallets are unnecessary. So
yeah. So Mr. Dariusz, so thank you so much. I have so many questions for you, but we ran out of the time. And as you mentioned, partnership was key for you. And we, as strong women in IT, we also believe in partnership. And we, we will have to finish. So thank you once again for finding the time. And I hope that we'll stay in touch and you will observe what we are doing in promoting women in IT in a leadership position. So thank you so much. And fingers crossed for your expansion. And now I would like to invite Małgorzata Grys, my business partner, my wonderful second half in Strong Women in IT. And Małgorzata will run the panel discussion about making a difference, stronger together. So this is a great link between what Ms. Dariusz said just before about how they built BLIK. So Gosia, the stage is yours.
Thanks a lot. Thank you, Anita. Thank you, Dariusz. Thank you, Michelle. I cannot be prouder today. 2 years ago, when we've been starting our partnership strategy, we couldn't even dream. Or maybe we could have dreamed, but we couldn't think that there is a moment when we have the top data and analytics leader speaking to our audiences globally, Michelle Power, that we have Dariusz Mazurkiewicz, the president of BLIK, one of the top performing mobile solutions, making our lives easier. And I couldn't think that we'll be surrounded today in the beautiful office of Gessel, attorneys-in-law at 15th floor in Warsaw, thanks to their hospitality, being surrounded by amazing leaders who are so much engaged into what we do every day, how we do every day, and how we shape a better and more inclusive work together. Guys, when I was listening to the stories of the two people before, and of course the opening of Anita, I said, this is the moment of life which I was really waiting for over the past 55 years. Now you know my age, so with no further ado, it's time to welcome the panelists of today, of our session Stronger Together. Let me start with Mateusz Majewski, the Vice President of UiPath Southeast Europe, Monika Kordowska, the Tribe Leader of Operational Excellence BNP Paribas in Poland, Anna Rawska-Kupczyńska, the Director of Marketing of Central and Eastern Europe and Turkey in the Hewlett-Packard Enterprise, Anna Ziewalic, the Attorney-in-Law Advocate of Gessel Attorneys-in-Law in Warsaw, and the Managing Associate in the company. The panel is really about why do we exist together? How was it that you trusted us? Some of you already 2 years ago, the others a year ago. Why do we do what we do? Why are we existing together, making this world a better place to be, a better place to work, more equipped with solutions which give us inclusivity, equal chances and fair treatment. And I will start with the two, Monika and Mateusz, because they were the first ones who trusted us 2 years ago. I remember our first discussions. I have to mention 2 other people, otherwise I would really be unfair. Iza Tworzydło, huge greetings. I think she's at a conference today of BNP Paribas together with Monika, and Alina Iliescu, who is now heading to another role in Romania. How was it? How did you come to the conclusion that you are joining us, that it's worth doing? Monu, let's start with you.
Yes, thank you, and welcome everyone. I remember that meeting, this 2 years ago, and okay, that was the first time when we've met. Of course, I knew about Strong Women in IT, but not so much, not so deep. And I remember that after, I don't know, 10, 15 minutes, or even at the reception desk in the bank, because we just met in the premises, bank premises, I just had the feeling that we really see the same purpose, that we talk the same, what we want to change. And I think that was really something which is making that cooperation so strong. And if you ask me why, because we believe in what you do, and we believe that we can support you because we believe in the same elements, in the same purpose, which is empowering to making the women more empowered, and to make the world more diverse and inclusive. And this is about that. So I think that this is this element of common North Star. The other point, which I believe, which I as well compare to the programs which we lead in the NAC, like the Women Changing BNP Paribas, is this really extraordinary willingness to make this extra mile. You know, I love the concept of making the extra mile when you work on something, because this is that you want to give your heart to the idea. You really want to change. You really want to involve yourself apart from your daily duties. And I think that you are great leaders, you and Anita, and you really build a strong community. But we all know that leaders sometimes will not make a change. They need followers, and they need as well partners. And this is about that. So this is about making this, you know, following you group. In our case, these are companies, but as well the people who are involved. You have as well a lot of followers in the, you know, the women leaders which you as well promote, and these are the people who will really push further, you know, strong women in IT. And I really believe in it in that sense.
That's quite an amazing statement. We never dared hearing this, but the great thing is that we do believe, and I'm really serious in this sense of purpose, the common purpose that you talk about.
Yeah.
This is like with the snowball. Yeah. One starts, the other one joins. You know, you create the group of people, and we are really stronger together. We also realize during our discussions that however good we are in what we do, however strong belief we demonstrate, if we don't have the top people being with us, the brands which stand behind them. By the way, I'm also greeting BLIK, who is also our partner, but they couldn't join us today. Eva and the team, greetings from us. They have their internal tech event today. But still, this context of being together for the common purpose is critical for us. We would not be in the place where we are today without you. Mateusz, do you recall the first days?
So I'm surprised this is already 2 years, by the way.
Yeah,
time flies so fast. Welcome everyone. I think, Małgosia, I mean, proof points make more statement than any word, you know, and me being here is the proof point of your creating an inclusive, actually, environment itself. I think that should be the first statement. But, you know, to UiPath, when we joined the journey with you, I was listening to Mr. Mazurkiewicz. You know, it takes time, and creating new ideas together, as they did with the banking system, to make the BLIK as successful as they are, it requires partnerships. And I think we always knew that as an innovator and disruptor, we need to have a partnerships to be able to you know, innovate, to create a different world. And I am very much tapping into what you said about what kind of future we like to have for ourselves. Yeah, and we like to have an inclusive and diverse future. So that's why for UiPath it was almost and myself no-brainer to join the initiative. Because we believe and we are having a vision in the same direction, but we do see on the marketplace that actually this is very much needed. Yeah, so people are actually asking for diversity. We feel diversity is very important. And you know, those 2 years, I think we were discussing about the partnership last time during the webinar. It is building on each other. It's inspiring each other. We strongly have a lot of initiatives around the diversity inside the UiPath. Women in Automation is one of them. But the entire concept of giving more chances. You know, right now we have the explosion of AI, low-code applications. I think this is one of the elements. If we use it correctly, I think we can create a diverse marketplace for anyone to join, to participate, to listen, to practice, to change. So I think, you know, we are very much into that mission. And I think getting back to leadership, I think your leadership is showing how this community is growing. So I never doubt about this, but you proved during the way that actually it's a fantastic journey so far.
That's really so cool to hear. And what is critical for us also, you touched the context of low code, no code, right? Connected also with AI. Mateusz, the data points, at least in Central and Eastern Europe, shows that you gave the reason to reskill to the number we know about hundreds of women who were able to reskill, thanks to at least what we saw were around 200 women coming back after their maternities, who were able to reskill or even join the IT industry, thanks to the low code, no code. And on top, I know if you don't kill me for this one, and I hope our audiences will appreciate, you are the father of 2 girls as well. So you are building the better world, not only for yourself, but also, I think, for our children.
Absolutely, absolutely. And Małgosia, A is the new generation, but B, as you said, we have multiple situations, and the entire citizen development programs within our customers are designed not just to promote the automation, but exactly to reskill, upskill, or change the profile of what is actually needed. It could be after maternity leave, great example, but as well into multiple different occasions, just to provide more inclusive culture within the technology itself. So I think this could be applicable across the different scenarios. And I think we are at the very, very beginning of that journey where technology, strong leadership, correct values can provide actually added value to society, to workplace, to our pipeline.
And both of you always challenge us together with Lisa, whom I greet again during our discussions, which is super helpful. You wake us up if we sometimes, stay silent. So that's very important. Aniu, Ania Rawska, HPE.
Witam.
And I have to, let me take one small personal thing, because not everyone knows it. Thanks to Ania Rawska-Kupczyńska and her helpful hands, with no technical background at that time, more than 23 years ago, I joined HP. She made my onboarding possible, together with another colleague of ours, Agnieszka Sioda, who I hope is with us today. And this was, for me, the most inclusive moment that one person, one woman, gave to the other one, opening the surface, the mind and the heart, to help her to get her place on board. I will never forget this one, and I keep repeating this. You always or very often say that the context of long term versus the short term is super important for you, for HP, for your thinking in terms of building diverse and inclusive contexts. How is it in your case? Why did you join, and how do you really look at it?
So, so I remember, Małgosia, when you joined HP those times,
right? At that time.
And you were very open as well to learn, right? To listen about the technology. So it is, 2 ways communication is giving the effect, right? So in HP, as you know, because you were presenting at the stage, we have Warsaw Women Network, the organization that wants to inspire a woman in IT sector to grow, right? To take the positions in the management, but also in the sales, or even technical positions, pre-sales positions, for example. You can imagine, you mentioned before the meeting that we do not have a lot of women in IT environment. So we are really welcome, very, very warm, each woman joining our company. Diversity is very important for Hewlett Packard Enterprise. We want really to have different perspectives, right, inside. This is really, we believe it's helping to innovate, right? One of the benefits of diversity is innovation, right? Also, I think there is better or higher trust, right, to the company with the open and diverse environment. And also these kind of companies, they are not only focused on the business outcome, but there is also kind of mission, right, to give the social impact. And all these things together, right, are creating the diversity strategy. Why strategy? Because as you mentioned, it's company should have strategy for diversity. That should be a part of company culture, even, I would say, right? Because one event will not change the company's approach, right, to the diversity. It should be planned. There should be commitment from management, right? And also, like I mentioned, it should be in the DNA, right? And there is a lot of perspective that companies should consider with diversity, diverse hiring, right? Especially in IT, right? You can imagine when we hire a person for technical position, how many women come? Not many, right? There should be also, companies should also build a platform for the minorities, I would say, or marginalized voices.
The underrepresented voices.
Underrepresented, right? And we have these platforms in HPE. We have Women Network. We have also Young People Network. That is super important to bring not only diversity in gender, but also younger people to the big corporation with the experienced people, right? And last but not least, right, I would say that diverse company, they have more successes on the market and can build longer relationships, right? And this is the proof that we are sitting here after so many years, right? That inclusiveness 20 years ago make us in close relationships
for so many years. And look, Mateusz was talking about the inclusion through innovation. Anya is exactly bringing the same. Monica was bringing a very similar perspective. And by the way, to be super factual, based on the 30% club data and some of the Deloitte's researchers, the diverse companies where diversity is one of the core components of the corporate culture or the company culture, not only the corporate culture, are bringing 18 to even 30, but let's take at least 18% of the better results. Why? Because as Anya says, the different perspectives that people bring to the discussion make a difference. And usually in these situations also adding a component, taking our local market, you cannot ignore simply 52% of the population, which are the women, right? Why should we do that, to be factual? Ania Dziewalic, Gesell, thanks again to hosting us today. That's a great opportunity to see your impressive office.
Thank you, Małgosia.
Aniu, how does it look like from your perspective? You joined us a year ago. You were created, maybe not everyone who hopefully still listen to us is aware that Gesell was co-shaped by one of the top advocates, attorneys in law, Dr. Beata Gesell, 30 years ago, and today you reached almost a balanced scenario between the genders, 50-50 almost. How is it that you joined us and that we are together?
Małgosia, so firstly, once again, thank you for the introduction. I actually specialize in commercial litigation, but today I am representing Gesell Attorneys at Law. And I'm happy that you brought up Professor Gesell,
because she's really at the heart of this organization, as you can say by our name. She established Gesell 30 years ago, and since then, I would say, shaped its development. So it is no coincidence that today we have around 40% of female partners and over 50% of female lawyers. And we are still growing. So, you know, we are maintaining, let's say, this parity, even though today we have 150 employees. A couple of years ago, it was probably 70.
You are the avant-garde at the market. I'm sure Monica will add in a moment something important from the banking perspective, BNP Paribas.
Thank you. I really think we set the tone for the legal market in terms of equality. And this is one of the reasons why I am proud to be a part of this organization. But from my personal perspective, I think values in general are important to me. So I was very fortunate because my mother was a very strong woman. She transitioned from a career in music to being a sworn translator and opening her own business completely on her own, I would say. So I value this resilience. But also 10 years ago, when I started my legal career, I met many strong older female lawyers, and they really showed me the value of excellence. I am saying this because it was important. I was facing many older, more experienced men in court, in negotiations, and they always told me that you just have to, you know, do your job the best you can. And I think this is the approach, you know, as an individual that works best. But from this broader perspective, we all know that, you know, the statistics are not there yet. So we need some mechanisms. And I really loved what Monica said about, you know, that the leaders, even such as Małgosia, also need partners and followers and, you know, supporters. So this is, I think, our mission here to support you. And the law can also offer a unique perspective. So it is not always about some rigid requirements. This year we had a webinar about the new EU directive, Women on Boards Directive. You probably all heard about it because it establishes quotas, but they are not mandatory. So if a certain company cannot meet the quota, then they can ensure that the recruitment process is fair, equitable. So, you know, the issue is the owners of the company have to think about it, and the law can somehow raise awareness and change behaviors. So, to sum up, when Małgosia approached us this year, I was really very grateful.
And even last year, at the end of last year.
Truly, really, but we really started this year, our cooperation. So I was very happy to commit. This year, we were able to organize some webinars, to participate in many inspiring events, and really to show how the law can impact situation of women in business. So I think this is this educational aspect is important, you know, to know what your rights are, what the context is currently, and I think I am hoping we'll do it next year, and I'm really looking forward to next project.
Me too, and what I really love is that how Mecenas Dziewicz is building on Monica's statement again. It was not in the scenario, believe me, this is just the dialogue here. One is building on another one. You stated give equal chances to the people, right? Give them the fair treatment in the processes, and like we work. Yeah. You got now really, you are setting up the tone in the banking sector.
Yes, definitely. I think that bank is really walking the talk. This is for sure, and this is how it has been expressed, that you need to prove by your actions. Exactly. Okay, words really can change, but actions must follow, and that's something we really do. I think that right now Annie, you mentioned as well women on boards, EU directive. We are all put a lot of expectations. We hope that there will be good transition into Polish regulations. It's under the discussion right now, because I think that really made the chance, and because we do a lot in terms of awareness, discussion, building networks, building programs. Really, there's a lot is happening. I think that we really know what we want to achieve, and now we need to right now have the tools to push, and this is how I understand that. I'm proud that the bank is already really achieving all those goals which I mentioned in the EU directive, and I just think that the other stock exchange companies, quoted companies will follow, and that's really that's important. And one additional point you as well mentioned about the role modeling, and this is important. Yes. This is what you as well do, and to support as well the movement and results.
And I think that's a great closure. I still really hope you are still with us. We had quite a crowd. Much more than 100 people with us today, even if it's a longer day for many of us. The great thing of this team, and we encourage more and more, as Monica stated, as with the snowball, don't be shy, challenge your leaders, talk to the people, build awareness, engage the people who are serving as role models, both women and men, and the world is really much better. I love the statement, even if it might really sound, high level, but it's not. Gandhi was stating, we are the change we wish to see in the world. And with this, I really wish to say thank you so much. I know it was a super long day for you, each of you super busy in your daily routine, but there are also the people that I want to express the huge gratitude to additionally. Behind the scene, there are always people who make it possible, the enablers of this event, of the sessions. We have our amazing host, the person who with her team did a lot of work, and she's still patiently with us. That's the director of PR and branding of DSL, Ada Niecko. Thank you, Ada. You made our day. And we also have Justyna Burkhardt and Ola Sypek. Justyna as our chief producer of Strong Women in IT webinars, Ola helping. Guys, without your help, we would never be able to make it. As we say, stronger together. See you on the 11th of December, the last closing event, and look forward into the next year, the year of the report, Strong Women in IT 2025. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye. Thank you.